Hello, my name is Evalds and welcome to the AI Ranch episode where we navigate the wild west of AI technologies and see how that interacts with businesses all around the world. And today I want to welcome my old friend Gundars Kuļikovskis from the Zippy Vision. I would say quite impressive company here in the Eastern Europe. He's a serial entrepreneur in different areas, have intersection between like traditional businesses and emerging AI technology. So this should be quite interesting. Welcome.
Hello.
Yeah, so let's start by first telling about the Zippy Vision itself and the main product and the company. Could you tell, please, words?
Yeah. So the Zippy Vision is a company which produces the scanners and automation systems based on the computer vision, let's say, and sensor information for a woodworking industry. Only woodworking industry, and starting from the big scanners for cut optimization or rip cut optimization. It's a specific term, but it's like the computer decides how to cut in the lateral dimensions the planks or boards of the wood in the wood mills, and finalizing with the systems which are classifying and measuring the strength of the construction materials or furniture, or inspecting the furniture elements from the wood. So we mainly focus on the solid wood processing. It's from the industry perspective, it's we work in the primary processing, which means that you have a log and you cut it into the pieces, and the secondary processing, which is the furniture. So we produce for both. The common denominator for all our equipment is complexity. And actually, what is probably interesting and counterintuitive is that we are looking for a niche or a products which are highly complex by the nature, and where we have a competence. And that's our main business strategy, like a business, like a wood scanners with a two-dimensional full placement optimization of the products on the surface based on the quality requirements is one of the very complex products. And other are complex products like a high-speed inspection of the construction materials, visual, and based on visual properties, deciding of the strengths and grading the materials depending on the strength. So that's our business model, and that's our business niche. We don't do the simple tasks, and the reason is, as we found ourselves lucky finalizing and working first complex equipment, we understood that it is safer, it's harder to do, but there are a higher entry barriers. So we spent a lot of money to enter this market, and now we don't want to spend the time doing some mass products. So that's one of the very and the entry into this market. So this market is very old. So our main competitors or leading companies in the world is 40 years old, 50 years old, and they developed the scanners of 40 or 50 years. And actually, AI opened the short opportunity window to enter new company, because AI allowed us in several aspects to overcome necessity to collect data 40 years.
That was good. But do I understand correctly? You're producing not only the software but also the hardware?
Yes, we are hardware company. That's one of the. We produce products. So we deliver to the customer ready scanner with a lot of metal as well, which is big constructions with the cameras, with the power and computing boxes, which are like 2 meters high and consumes up to 10 kilowatt energy for computing, feeding the electricity for lights, for cameras. This is a big piece of equipment. Biggest one is 4.5 meter high.
That's good.
For a log scanning, it's mean that if you have a log half meter by half meter, then the scanner is much bigger, and normally these production lines are very high, and that means that we have a pretty high in the air the scanning and a lot of power for lights and everything.
So you say that the competitors has been already for 50 years. They already made scanners before. Like how did they made them before the AI, and how right now your solution is better than theirs, or where do you compete?
Yeah, that's interesting. Our competitors have these. They have this legacy problem. So something is working and it's still working, and it's very difficult to change. So the machine learning is not new. Machine learning is for a while here, and they based on the simpler machine learning principles. What they did in these 50 years, they collected a lot of parameters describing different properties of the wood. They collected a lot of experience calibrating very precisely calibrating lights and cameras. And everything was based on the very tiny deviations in the lights and cameras, in the colors, etc. So it takes a lot of time to collect. They have thousands of parameters, color parameters, etc., and they collect new and new. AI solves this problem by it's still not cheap, but you can collect a lot of images, annotate them, and AI itself in 1 week collects all the parameters and even better than they
A lot less handcrafting. There's a lot of fine-tuning handcrafting by the expert knowledge, right? So that's good. But then you also said that there is a simpler devices where you don't go. So are there AI-based simpler devices in the production?
Yes, there are a lot. There are companies like a Cognex. I don't know. There are many companies now have so-called smart cameras, which are generalized inspection systems where you can identify simple objects by the camera itself. So it's training, everything is in the box. So so-called zero code systems, which you can set up for very simple tasks, which for now it seems simple. It was a very difficult task like 5 years ago. But today it's simple task. So you can employ smart camera for a task to sort square cubes from the balls. Yes, that's actually very common in the industry. Or screws from the
bolts.
Yes, from the bolts. So there is already ready-made. This is a big company field like a Siemens. Which is actually interesting. In this industry, the companies are big and competitors, which has a sales like 200 million or more. They still think about themselves as a small and mid-sized company comparing to the Siemens and specialized custom products. Because if you can generalize for every industry, it's probably business of the Siemens.
Yeah. So. But that's interesting. You're in this kind of same field with the big players right now.
Yes, we are in the same field of the big players, and we managed to get into this field, and we are happy. And we were recently in the biggest or first participation in biggest woodworking technology fair, Ligna in Hanover. It happens every second year, and every second year the other exhibition or fair is in Atlanta, United States. So we will participate there definitely. And we found ourselves with in some positions as the best in the world. It was a surprise for us. It was unpleasant surprise for our big or established companies in the field. And specifically, we were one of the best in mathematics.
Like, how do you discover this, and what exactly is the where you are the best at these mathematics?
Look, that's based on the company philosophy. So I'm I had a lot of companies in my past, different types of companies, and but background is engineering still. This company is made by accident. The very short on this company history is that I had a very nice evening, the party in the banking, in the private banking party in one of the banks, and we had like a little drinking, a little or more wine or beer or everything else. And we spoke with one of the biggest, I was in finance, one of the biggest, today biggest food producer in Latvia. We spoke about the Japanese market problem about quality inspection. So we agreed that it would be nice if I would build them the inspection system which would sort out the defective packaging for a Japanese market. I didn't have a company, it was more like a party talk. And the next morning I wake up, I understood that I promised, and it was my customer, but I promised him to build the engineering system. So
you were working in banking and you promised to build the packaging quality control system.
Yes, just in the party talk.
Why Japanese have higher
Japanese
standards?
Has extreme quality requirements. It's extreme, and they couldn't handle this.
Right.
So I was looking for a possibility to enter engineering. I had a silent wish to come out of the finance and come back to the engineering, because my original job was IT engineer. And I just promised semi-promised, but it was party talk. But on next morning I understood, so word is word. So I gave the word that I can deliver. So let's see what I should do. I should establish company. So I went to the Tallinn. There is a garage 24. There is garage 48, but there is garage 24 for managers for new ideas. So I knew that there is event. I drove to the Tallinn. There was a lot of guys, and I pitched the idea of the inspection. So the idea was to look what will be proposed as a solution. There was engineers as well, but it was more management. It was not like to code something. It was to decide how to do it. That's because 24.
The manager's shorter period, not so much time.
Not so much time. So I pitched successfully. Right. They gave me different aspects, different angles. They said what worked, what doesn't. There was some experienced guys who said from the Finland, from Germany. So we discussed about this. So I got first impression where to go. And I had already something about the AI. I understood. I played, as every engineer probably played at that time, 2016. And then I established company, and then I announced that it will be the computer vision, and my brothers had a business in the Asia, financial business. So they needed also the biometrics recognition system for a loan and and then we understood, okay, let's combine, let's make and my son was eager to make a web version of the computer vision. So we had a Zippy ID, which was an identity verification system for Indonesia, Malaysia, and Vietnam, and Philippines probably we also tried to do, and the other was a food industry, because my concept we will be the best in the spaghetti sorting. And he was and we had two competing ideas, and decision was the business who will survive will be the main business of the company. Today we are not in the food, not in the ID, we are in the wood.
Not in the spaghetti?
Not in the spaghetti. The problem is spaghetti, it's very simple machines, actually. Food packaging inspection is really simple compared to the wood, really simple. And the second is they are very highly effective, meaning if you equip two packaging lines in the Latvia, you feed all the Eastern Europe. Yeah? That market is small. Machine is cheap, relatively cheap, or simple. Market is small. Efficiency of the line is very high, means the market is really not interesting.
And Face ID, you use
Face ID is really simple. If we compare to the wood, it's really simple. you take off-the-shelf solutions, put together, make okay. You do some programming.
They just that you say simple. It depends on what level of
Compared with the wood. When we referenced the wood.
That's interesting. But okay, let's. You said the face identification for banking it was, or for and
for banking. It was document recognition, comparing the facial with documents, trying to recognize the fake documents.
Mhm. So it's not really like very high precision needed, or was it?
No, there is high precision needed, but we made some huge business errors. We wanted to do it fully automated and cheaper than the competition, and only then we found that actually our competition, the market needs more precise. So the market is willing to pay more, but for more precise. And actually, all our competitors, they were telling about the patented algorithms, everything, but actually there is a lot of people behind.
Yeah, manually
verifying everything which has adapted for a system.
Yeah, sure.
And we wanted to fully automate.
Yeah, you believe that you can do this automatically, right?
Yeah, and that's not working.
But like that's actually some pattern I think we have seen in many industries, that you kind of automate as much as you possible, and then there's a human in the middle that helps those edge cases. In your case, do you also have something similar, or
in the wood? Oh, in the wood, yes. So if we think about the edge case, that the machine stops when it's totally, but it's like once in the day, twice in the day. There is operator, which restarts it when the machine. There are some edge case which is unpredictable, but normally in industry, so the industry is characterized. You need to deliver 24/7. It's just a must. So,
But so this time you managed to fully automate this whole
but
process.
it's a bit different. Look, in the identification, the operator is a human itself, which is working on the smartphone, making face, etc. And we don't control the environment where this application is used. In industry, we control the environment. We agree on the environment, so it's a big deal.
Yeah, but it's actually technically better conditions rather than working with something which is very unstable environment and so on.
Yes, so that in the ID, the subject is stable, like a human, and document actually stable, and you have off-the-shelf off-the-shelf solutions. In the industry, in the wood industry, you have a stable environment, but you have very unstable subject, which is wood.
Wait. So you multiple times mentioned off-the-shelf solutions. So I have heard some startups, some companies that are not yet fully established, that they prefer to use off-the-shelf solutions instead of making their own solutions. That maybe buy something, even very expensive AI technology for their product, put it in, get the market, and then later at some point build something their own. Like for the Zippy Vision, the wood scanners, do you have the similar situation, or
not that? So what was Zippy Vision? We by accident again we started with a food and ID, and it was not going very well. But we were developing a lot of technologies which actually employed in the. And by accident, I met one guy who asked me, "Can you make a bigger scanner for a wood?" It was for an institution, for a research institution. I said, "Okay, maybe it's 20 times bigger than spaghetti scanner, but it should be the same technology." So we built it. We built, and we assumed that it's easy. We built the scanner for a research institution, for research purpose, and we assumed that we are ready for industrial. And we saw that industrial scanners much more expensive, so we made the first agreement, and we were extremely lucky with the customer, which was as adventurous as we were. The first contract is very hard how to say, the first contract. The terms is following: so we take a down payment 10% and full payment after. And if we consider that the scanner price is above 200,000, we took a huge risk. But we didn't know this risk at the time when we signed.
Yeah.
And actually, the difference between something which works on the factory floor and something which works
laboratory,
in laboratory is by cost 8 times. 8 times cost to build difference.
So it's but the end price, it's right now still around those 200K or
we have so our equipment is starting simplest versions from the 150 up to 500. And yes.
It was not the ready-made solution, right?
No.
And it still isn't. What was the the
it's
journey?
More or less ready. So let's say we now can deliver in 4 months, which is very fast. New
No, I mean right now your product is ready-made, but the AI technology component that you mentioned, for example, for Face ID, where you can take off the shelf some components and try to adapt it, like for the wood defects detection, like what is the journey?
No, it was not ready. So I don't know. Maybe we can disclose that I worked with you and you delivered our first segmentation or segmentation model.
There was something.
Yeah, no, it was very important step for us to get this segmentation model.
No. That's good to hear.
Yeah. That's not a secret. It was very important for us. Now we moved much further with this, but it was very important for us first to get first. We have a huge annotator team which annotates still a lot of wood, but yes, it was not ready. So there was no. The industry is very secretive, so that means that we don't publish everything we do, and no one publishing. And our main advantage was we took the job to build the 2D rip cut optimization, which is a full 2D placement optimization, which is one of the most difficult tasks in this industry. And that was our success, that we on the first project we jumped over many steps, which usually takes a lot of time, and companies we found in the exhibition normally go to the rip cut optimization like after 10 years.
What do they do first normally?
Inspection, grading, counting the number of nuts per meter, etc.
All right, like statistical?
Yeah, like statistical, but 2D mathematical optimization. And we did it successfully, and now we have a absolutely fastest 2D optimization in the industry. We have 2D optimization based on the GPUs, which is something like 20 times faster than any competitor. Sure. And it changed the layout of the line. You can do different things immediately.
Yeah. So, but let's try to also go in the direction if there would be some traditional business company or new venture, and they would like to have some kind of AI component, like in your product. Like from your experience, would you recommend them, to outsource this or to build their own competence? And how was your experience of building this AI component?
First, outsource, because it's you. Look, a little bit. There is exaggeration of the AI. AI is a component in industrial thing. The surrounding is something which ensures that everything works 24/7. AI is like a must, but it doesn't solve everything. So in industrial field, you have to focus first on stability, that everything you do really works. And AI, then better is to not try to do also AI, just outsource. When everything works with one AI, then you will start to build the internal competence just to first to be able to contract them and everything outside, to have competence to speak with someone outside.
Sure. Yeah, so you understand the right questions.
Questions, and you give the right tasks.
Yeah.
If you don't understand anything about AI, it will be difficult to hire someone or to contract someone to outsource.
Sure, you had the technical background, so
yeah,
it was not too bad for you.
It was still, and that's very important in this kind of business. And we have internal saying that there is no. So describes this business one saying what we have, there is no laboratory prototype which can survive hitting factory floor. So literally and, and philosophically. So if something works in your lab, don't count that it will work anytime soon in the factory floor.
So it was not easy in the beginning when you moved.
Yes, it's a hell.
What was it like? Total failure immediately?
No. Look, the difference is when you build a software, like accounting software, whatever, ERP, you have a dark tunnel and you start to build, you first 10% works, you have an interface and you see the tunnel light, you see incremental working more and more. In the industrial product has a binary function, works, don't work. So it means that you work until it works and you don't see light in the tunnel. And it's a little bit depressing. So almost everything should work and it doesn't work first item for 6 weeks, for 6 months, while you are finding out all the things in the industry which go wrong. And suddenly, it's not like, it's even not incremental, suddenly it works. And you understand, okay, we sorted out everything now. So it's a bit depressing. Actually, it takes, you have so much down, like you lose hope at all.
So you need to go very bottom to,
yeah.
And then it suddenly it works.
Yeah, suddenly it works. Yes.
Okay. So that was an exciting story so far. And at the end, did it really cost 200K or what was the end cost of the first prototype, and what did you learn from that experience?
So the first, it was not a prototype, so it's still working.
Still working.
It's still working. It's still working very good. So about this prototype, when the wood was a little bit more pricey, it was a start of this year. What we found in some days, so we replaced the human. This first scanner directly replaced, so it was, instead of chair of the human, was our scanner system. And chair is still there, so human can take over the operations manually. So we now know that the difference between the human operated line, when the human decides how to cut the wood, and the scanner decides how to cut the wood, the difference is daily 3,000 euros.
That's good.
That's really good. That's why it's hard to build, easy to sell equipment. Because when it works, it's just a must for a company. And if you think about 200,000, if you have a 3K per day, it doesn't seem expensive anymore.
Sure.
And the first equipment, first scanner cost for us 800.
800,000.
800,000. So it's almost million. So that's, retrospectively, we understand that we made a lot of errors, but you don't learn without errors. So errors is the only thing you learn from. So that's cost money. The errors, and that's why we don't publish what we did. We don't publish. We are now going for a first patent very carefully because we want to select only patents where it's simple to observe, easy to repeat, not the complex things which do internally. But yes, that's something that's a cost of the first.
So you jumped over the threshold, right? And now you are in the club, right?
Yes, now we are in the club of the companies who can build and who can prove, because there are many companies, the industry is full of the non-working scanners built by the startups trying to do it. And there is two problems. First, startups, there is a big difference. So the startups try to go cheap and gradually increase. So start with a simple camera, it's a simpler camera, like by the phone, then understand what we can do, and then move upwards to the complex industrial things, like industrial lights, industrial cameras, which cost a lot. The problem is you don't know anything while you not touch the industrial stuff. And you need immediately from the day one to take, even if you don't know if it will work or not, you have to buy the hardware which costs in tens of thousands.
Sure, I have
cameras, lights, And that was interesting. Our suppliers we approached were surprised that we are ready to buy a most expensive line scan camera. And the second lesson what we got from all this, which was part of success, was go technically for overkill on the first.
Mm-hmm.
You will have a lot of errors technically and everything, and you don't want to have on the top of it the error of taking too cheap, too simple equipment.
Yeah. So, but this is something I have heard again and again, and it's interesting that on the same rake, right? People are stepping all the time. Like that, I see the robotics companies building robots with the cheapest lidars, and then it's like it's working for 2 years, it fails, and then other company which starts immediately by buying the most expensive sensors and even most expensive software components. Then they prove to the market that this works very fast, right? So this is kind of your experience.
Yes, that's the same. And that's actually this entry barrier into this business. It's when in the software you have your cost. Here you have a huge hardware cost. Mm-hmm. And you go with so our first scanner is total overkill. Every piece of equipment is much too much, but then you learn what you can decrease. Mm-hmm. But if you go with too few functionality, you never learn what you miss.
Yeah. And as you said, the errors on top of errors, and
yes.
Then so okay, so the your first client got a sweet deal now, good deal, right? And but then okay, this was the hardware component. Then the software component. I remember we started working some time ago, but then what has been your journey, the experience of where are some of the problematics, challenging steps that you would highlight also for others who would like to attempt something?
Yeah. So there's these three things. First, on the factory floor, especially on the conveyor belt, you are working in very limited time. Mm-hmm. So meaning you have you count your process time in milliseconds. Mm-hmm. Meaning forget about the Python mm-hmm. or whatever. You go on the metal with C++ mm-hmm. probably. Mm-hmm. And that's not very easy to find the developers which work on C++. Mm-hmm. The second is the system most probably, if you employ AI, will be very complex. There will be containers working with AI engine, containers serving that. So you will go into really complex architecture, mm-hmm. especially when you need high speed and high processing power. You probably will employ several computers. Mm-hmm. And they will work. So that means that architecture is also complex. Third is because it's 24/7 application, you need to go on the day one with the best policy, but best approach or best industry approach to the software, meaning the unit tests, integration tests. This is money you have to spend from the day one. Mm-hmm. Because everything which stops the software in this industrial line every mm-hmm. third hour, which would be okay for ERP, mm-hmm. it's total catastrophe on the industry, on the factory floor.
Yeah, so interesting. You're focusing on on some of the technical aspects, and then the quality, which I feel that the quality is very important for you.
Yes.
So I want to also talk about the quality of the data, but before that, so you're still missing out any piece of actual AI engineers and that area. What was like the experience, or is it not important really?
No, it's important. It's look, in AI we were successful. We hired the company which helped us to build the model. And we developed internal annotation. So yes, one of the things we developed internal annotation system, because we annotate the wood, which is very specific. So you have to assume that there will be cost. So it's in the wood. Maybe in the other products, natural products will be the same. There will be the cost of the annotation, meaning that if you go in very specific product, you will train annotators on very specific subject. they will become like, our annotators are experts in the wood. They know how looks decay, how looks the white decay, blue stain, bark, vein. They know all this stuff, how it looks like. How looks the core wood, how looks tangential wood, how looks radial wood. It's a terms I didn't know like 4 years ago. This is small, subtle difference in the picture you have to mark. So you have to assume that, for example, our cost on annotating is going into the hundreds, over the 100,000, all the AI stuff. So it's annotating is really expensive. You need a lot of samples, and you need a quality inspection, quality
method how to ensure
processing.
Okay. So, but it still, again, it sounds like that the costly part of your experience of these AI components is this annotation and data, right?
Yes, it's a huge cost. Data is a extremely high cost. And especially the quality, as you know better than me, the quality of annotation is very important. And we actually employed, I had experience 20 years ago from the Bowen Global Solution at that time of the localization system. We introduced full quality system where there is someone who does the job, someone who inspects the job. If the too many errors, the job is deleted and you should do again. So it's based on the assumption that if someone doing the job makes more errors over the threshold, means that you can't rely on the job at all. You just delete all the job. So we introduced all what we had from prior experience, from localization experience, where we had very high and tight quality standards. We introduced whole quality management cycle into the annotation.
I agree that should be very valuable thing. So it's funny that how it
you can transfer knowledge from the localization to the annotation, because there is still the work is done by humans. So the all quality systems are based on how to manage humans, not the subject. The subject itself is not the.
And the labelers, are they outsourced? They're in-house? Or?
They are outsourced on the stable
contract.
On the stable, like we are, on the stable contract, and Latvian tax system forces us to keep someone we can pay over the minimum, even if we don't have the job at that time.
But
they are outsourced. They are outsourced,
and they work other time in the woodworking industry, right?
No. They work in different. They do it in the evenings. This is not like in the morning. We pay for per annotation.
So, but they are now woodworking experts.
Yes, they are woodworking experts.
They're working as a.
They could go somewhere and like. Sort grade the wood. Yes, actually they could take over. They could be very good employees for a woodworking industry where they need someone grading, for example, grading wood, etc. It's actually we don't want to announce that they are,
but you know, like maybe that's a combination, you know, like you don't need them at the moment. They make good money on that thing and then come back, you know.
Yes, maybe there is a little bit different. So they see the wood as in the sunshine, because our scanners are very bright light. Normally, the people who are looking at the wood in the factories, they see differently. So that's a big difference. But yes, generally, and there is a second very important thing. What we found regarding AI, you have to first speak with the factory, because there are many very subjective things which should be eliminated. What you do, you actually, we found the formula we test. We say, okay, you want to find like a blue stain. Let's look, you have 3 operators until now who agree what is blue stain. Let's look which is, and we take a lot of samples. This is blue stain, and ask all 3. So when we find that something factory wants to find, but they never have agreement on this by the 3 experts, we say, don't expect from the computer. So that's like it's our acid test. We say, okay, we can do only the thing which independently 2 experts can agree on. If you can't get 2 experts on the line, then first get on the line and then tell us what you want to classify or find or include into the product or exclude from the product.
And in your case, for those labelers, so I assume that you also have multiple of them, and you have a way how to cross-check them and try to agree on the labels, or how that.
That's a very good thing. That's very good question. So actually, laborers is one of the filters where we know that this is a task impossible. So if we can't get the labelers to agree on something very often, then we go back to the factory and say, okay, guys, there is something fishy about this. Because if we can't get our laborers to agree on, it will not work.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So that's actually a good filter. That's good that you have more than one labeler.
How many you need?
The top was like a 5 to 6 working simultaneously on the boards. So the one picture of the board is 32K by 4K. It's a big picture.
Yeah.
To annotate.
Well, do you make it somehow easier for them to annotate, right?
Yes, we have different tools. We have our own tool set. And again, there is many companies offering us this tool set. There's two things why we avoid them. First is IP, so we want to be sure that we control the data, and the second is it's not so easy. So you can teach to anyone. Cat, dog, human, road, sidewalk, etc. Wood, not so.
I kind of feel this situation because we ourselves in our companies have built the models that recognize, for example, emotions. That's very similar situation. Like when 5 people cannot agree on one emotion, And it's funny sometimes that especially in psychology field, social sciences, they sometimes give some kind of study where they ask a group of students to label something, and maybe there's each label just labeled by one person or something, and then they say, okay, this is the conclusion, but in reality, this is very, very difficult to get something as precise or very
Yep, that's true. And AI changed. AI is actually a game changer in the industry today, but it doesn't change in a way that you can. So you still are in the industry. So it's game changer in the sense if you can get it working in the industry level, then AI can change as a core. It can change. And I think so what we do now, we have AI engineers with the task to have a lecture every second week to the management, what is happening. So our system internal now is that we have unsolved tasks, which we know the industry didn't solve yet, in a robust way. Meaning in lab, everything is solved.
On papers, 99%.
No, although in the lab, 5 samples, everything is perfect.
No, that's very typical that there's a paper that promises very high accuracy, and then in reality, this is at least 10 or 20%, or even more or less.
Yes, and the industry, there is light changes, there is dust flying around, there is dirt flying around, the camera is a little dirty, the light is a little dirty, the light is a little darker, there's something, there is a lot of, you should count on. There is actually the industrial system has 3 steps. First, capture the data by the sensors. Second, very complex, very mathematically impressive, is get rid of the noise. Actually, this takes half of the time to get rid of the noise, get to the data. Then you get to the data, then you go give it to the AI, and then you take a result. That's our journey, and we know we are now at the scaling up. We are going international very fast now, and that's again we have a problems of industry on the wall now. And our AI engineers have to look every second week and look what does something move towards this solution. We want to be first.
Yeah. So you mentioned there are a couple of problems have not been yet solved. like what are the next steps that you see you want to introduce in terms of AI component in your product?
We are now looking very much into multimodal segmentation, multimodal recognition. Like we have a picture, but we want to combine it with the 3D, and with X-ray and with different spectrum. So that to have a multi-channel. It seems like perspective because there are things what our customers want to see, want to avoid, want to save money, and this, when you convert everything to the RGB or whatever, 3 colors, 3 numbers, you lose a lot of information. There's a lot of information between these 3 numbers, and which can be captured. But it's not only AI. It's a combination between the sensors and the third thing. What is important in the system? What we found, you need to understand the subject. If you build the machines in the industry, you need to know physics.
Yeah, I hear that you're very close to the machines and technology, and like every time when I try to go to the direction of software, you always bring me back to the hardware. So
not only hardware, light, spectrums of the light,
physics, right?
Physics, pure physics. If you know physics, you understand what you see, what you're looking at.
That's good knowledge. So again, closing to the end, you have lots of kind of experience. You tried a lot of things. So if there would be some new entrepreneurs who would like to try something, like from what you see, where do you see some opportunities? What you would like to do, but because right now you don't have time, maybe in completely different industries, where could AI component could be useful?
The only thing which can verify, so whatever I think about opportunities, I think I'm 90% wrong as I was before. And you have to speak to the customers and understand where they lose the money or where they don't earn the money in the industry. There is a lot of opportunities, but you have to get a trust with someone working in the industry. That's the industry hates most the people who come to them and tell them, we know how to solve your problem, without asking what is their problem. That's something you will be kicked out in the 5 seconds of the factory. Be humble and come and ask. And try to understand and spend a lot of time understanding what is.
But from other side of you, like if you're not ready, then they would it would go very different direction again. You ask and you turn out to be like a dummy,
Yes, but it's a good thing. When you feel dumb, that means you are on something.
But do they will be willing to buy from dummy?
No. Then you have to go all in. Then you have to go prove. You have to tell the company, I will eat the table side, just deliver.
Lick the floor.
Yes, I will lick the floor. Just allow me to get my first piece on factory floor, because first piece of factory floor is something which changed the game. What you do in laboratory doesn't count.
So be humble and
be humble. Ask about, because you don't know. Definitely, I still don't know. I still am humble. I'm trying to be as humble as possible with the customer, because they tell where the money is. I don't know.
No, at least now, I think now you know.
No, I know some. What I know, but everything what I don't know, only they know. I don't know. There is interaction. I tell them what I can do. We find out by together, but they know where is money. Whatever I think, it's wrong usually.
Okay, so maybe to summarize, give some final key points. What would you want? Like either your potential customers or some partners in future, or some entrepreneurs who look up to you, so to take from this talk?
I would say 2 or 3 things. Be ready for really go low in your emotions. it's really interesting. It's a really interesting thing. So if you like to play in the childhood with the Legos, it's your job. So just believe me, the playing with the huge Legos is more interesting than to play with the small ones. But be ready for a going very low in expectations, in the emotions. It's really interesting. You just need to be ready to get someone who trusts, who gives you some money as well, because it costs a lot. Just it's really interesting, but you need to understand it will not be easy. It will not finish in that 1 year, 2 years, and it's not really venture capital job. It's more like a longer term investor interest, not venture. For venture capital, it's a little bit too slow, but it's very stable. It's a completely different game.
But good game.
A good game, yes, but it's still just. But yes, if you like it, just go for it. But and don't afraid from the. So be adventurous, because the world belongs to ones who tries.
Yeah, so really nice talking to you. I really enjoy it. Every time when we talk, you bring up something insightful. You can feel the experience that you had before, the failures, and now success. So really wishing the best luck to you.
Thank you.
So thanks for joining this episode of AI Ranch. And as a gratitude for our work, I encourage you to press like and follow this channel and spread the word. Please do also some comments, and see you in the next episode. Bye.